Hi everyone, welcome back to our show where we talk about all things autism and more. My name is Claire for those of us who are joining us for the first time, and I'm here with Patricia and Irene as usual. And today we have a very special guest, Mama Africa. She's going to tell us why she's Mama Africa, but to others she's known as Lucy Romushana, but she prefers to go by Mama Africa. So our focus today is going to be on Lucy, Mama Africa, a parent with a child who's walked this special needs journey. We've been promising you to bring on parents, and this is our first and very important guest, Lucy. Thank you. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for
saying yes. We would love to hear your journey and your story. But first of all, Mama Africa.
Okay. I am Mama Africa because my son is called Africa Yamani. Africa Yamani means Africa is strong.
Oh, wow.
I gave him that name because I just feel that Africa as a continent has a lot of potential. Africa really is very strong, but a lot of times disadvantaged. And I just thought it was a beautiful name for a beautiful boy. So that's why he's called Africa Yamani.
Who needs tissue?
That's how he gave me the name Mama Africa.
I wish I had the opportunity to have another child.
You can.
I would name them Africa. No, the factory is closed.
I'd never factored in Yamani. Now it makes sense.
It's a sentence.
It's a
Africa
sentence.
Yamani.
Yamani. In our local dialect, in the Bantu dialect, it's all the same. Yes.
It's all Bantu, yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Yamani and how we've sort of convinced you to be on our show. All things autism and more.
Okay. Open-ended like that.
Open-ended in a sense. We invited you. You've walked this journey. You have maybe faced some challenges, but maybe take us back to the beginning. You have this beautiful baby boy. You've given him this beautiful and strong name. And then, because not every parent, we talked about autism and the disabilities or that are silent, that are not physical, that are not evident at birth. So you have a beautiful baby boy, you take him home. What then? When do you start first to notice that maybe there's something that I need to pay extra attention to?
Okay, in the very beginning, when Yamani was born, he had to be in the ICU for a few hours, but that's not very unusual, especially when you've had a cesarean.
Yes.
Especially when you've had a cesarean section. But after we got home, he would not latch on. I was trying to breastfeed, but he would not latch on. So that's where the worry started. I had Africa. I was living in Germany. So you have a nurse visiting you every day to check on you, to make sure everything is working, fortunately.
Cool.
And to weigh the baby and all that. So after, I think about a week, he had lost weight. Because as putting him, I thought he was feeding, but he wasn't actually latching on. So we had to go back to hospital and stay a couple of days until he got back to his normal weight, like pumping and then feeding him. So we quickly went on the bottle as well because the breastfeeding just wasn't working. I was very disappointed. I wanted to breastfeed until he was like 4.
Mama Africa, indeed.
It's because I only planned to have one child. So
Seriously?
Yes, I'd always planned to have only one child, and I was lucky I got a boy because I wanted a boy. So I was like, I'm going to breastfeed this boy until. But that didn't work. But I was also going through some trouble. So when he was 2 months old, I moved back to Uganda. So I don't know. I don't know when you really start to notice. He was very quiet.
Okay. Peaceful, eh?
Very peaceful. And everyone's like, you're so lucky. Your baby is so peaceful. Eh?
Yeah.
He was a bit too peaceful.
But being a first-time mom, perhaps you don't even know that.
Well, you think it's his character.
Character.
Because now I was back at home. I had my whole family around me.
Yes, you
So
have support.
yeah. But like, anyway. But eventually, you go down the road 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And his cousin is slightly older than him, and she was the complete opposite. 7 months, she was already verbalizing some words. So we go 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. And we realize he started crawling, that was fine, but he didn't move from there. There was no speaking.
No babbling, nothing.
Nothing. And then you start to think there's something wrong, but somehow, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're still hopeful it will pass. So anyway, but eventually at 2 years, he's not walking, he's not speaking, then you really have a problem. So we started looking out for the doctors, which was such a hard time. 18 years ago in Kampala, there was really there were not many doctors in the field. But then we finally got a diagnosis of developmental delay.
I suppose even then getting diagnosis was not, first of all, finding the doctor, even if the diagnosis was right, you just taking what they're giving you. Eh?
What else can
What else can you do?
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
try and read up and
Yes.
do, but there's nothing you can really do.
Really do.
But anyway, so then I started speech therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy. He did everything.
Okay.
Yeah, he did everything. At around that point, I also started working. I'd stayed home with him throughout. So I took him to a daycare. They were really nice. They used to carry him around. He wasn't walking. He didn't walk until he was 4.
Really?
So, yeah. Like to walk on his own.
Yeah.
He could walk a short distance if you were holding his hand.
Yeah.
And even from 4, it was still
The struggle.
very slow.
I think that should encourage a parent out there, don't you think, Patricia?
Because he's such a strong boy now.
He carries me.
He carries you.
Yes, he does.
Oh, wow. That should encourage a parent out there who's thinking, my child is not yet walking. Will he ever do this? At 4 is when he walked.
Yeah, he finally started walking at 4.
Amazing.
He couldn't run until he was like maybe 10. Couldn't jump. He couldn't do any of those.
I think Claire is wondering why I'm not saying
Yes,
anything.
I wanted
This
to
whole
say
time because she's
something.
been signaling me.
Yeah.
But it's been, I think, whenever I listen to our mom give us like the story of her journey, it really also takes me back. Everything you say, I feel the depth and the weight of everything that you're saying, and it's difficult for me to come outside of myself and say, okay, now I have to ask her a question about something, because I see you. Like, I see you and I see what you possibly went through in that time. And for me, it's just admiration, because I am 100% sure 18 years ago it was tougher than it is now. And I can only imagine how you navigated through explaining to the people around you. How did that go? Because now you have your son. He's steadily growing. You have to, how did you, okay, maybe I'm asking too many questions in one. So let me try and focus it to how did you cope, or how did you handle yourself through the process of staying strong for your son, and and standing for him during those first years where you may have also, while you're trying to understand what he's going through, you also have to explain to the people around you what were your tools, like how did you handle that? Because I'm looking at you and I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Okay, first, I was very vocal about my son's disability. I'm on Facebook and he was always there, and I'm saying, this is my son, he's special, he's different, and
I'm going to applaud her because people are going to deny you.
Wow. And people kept telling me, stop saying that. Don't say that. He's normal. What's wrong with you?
He's going
Lucy?
to be normal. Yes.
He's going to be fine. Don't say those things, Lucy.
Yes.
Why are you overposting your child? I had a post like every day.
You see, I wanted you to say something, Patricia. Thank you, Lucy, for coming out and standing up.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you know when someone is just throwing gems. We literally just talked about this with Claire, and we talked about posting your child and sharing your story and how that can be therapeutic for you, but then at the same time you're also extending like a testimony or hope to other families. But how you're countering. So please just go
continue.
on.
Yes.
I just wanted to pause there for a minute.
So I think that's one of the things that helped me. And then I went everywhere with him.
That's nice.
It was like my handbag. He's so tall, I'd carry him and his legs were like down here. But I was with him everywhere. There's a party, we're going. There's what? We're going. My baby on my boda.
Wow.
Everywhere. I was everywhere with him. I sort of became a pain for some people. Like,
when you'd show up.
Yes, but I was always there. And then some people would say, to me, I'm spoiling the boy. That's why I think he's disabled, but I'm just not giving him space to grow. I'm smothering him. But there's nothing wrong with that boy. You wait. And then, of course, the one of, he's going to get better. He's going to get better. Until I read somewhere, I can't remember at what point in the journey, I was on a lot of sites with mothers with children with disabilities, and somebody just said, stop hoping that your child will get better.
Wow.
Because they may or they may not accept your child the way they are now at this point, and just love them for who they are. What happens in the long run is not your business. And that gave me a lot of strength.
Let me say that again.
Please.
You're ministering to even all of us sitting here. You don't know. Please say it again.
As a good teacher, I will ask you to repeat what I say
she has said.
to see if
Irene,
you have if you have understood.
There is power in acceptance, and we should avoid being futuristic, because you end up thinking too much, you end up worrying too much, and forget about living in the now. Yeah. So you take it one step at a time. That's very powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah. That is very powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is the story of Africa Yaman in the beginning.
Yes.
Well, kudos to you. Kudos to you for not being crushed by that statement and instead being energized and strengthened by it. And I think it says a lot. I always say this on this show, perspective is literally everything. Because for me, when the doctors said, don't expect him to get better, I felt like I was being challenged. Like, what do you mean?
I can do this.
You won't get better. What do you mean you won't do that? But that's not really what they were saying. And that's why I like the full statement that you made. It wasn't, you didn't just stop there. It was, the emphasis was, instead of focusing so much on what he could be or what results you might get in the future or not, focus on who he is now. Like, don't lose this moment. This moment of him being a child and him being in the now. That's so that's for me, that's the most powerful part, being present, like you said. It's truly amazing that you are strengthened by that, and I'm hoping someone will also be
Yes.
strengthened.
I would
by
like
that.
to also take you back on that statement, because there is a way in which a message is the way a message is brought out matters. There is that one who will tell you your child is never going to change, your child is never going to be the same, your child is never going to speak. And then there's that one who says accept, live in the now and support them, accept them, love them as they are. Those two statements are different. This one is a statement of hope. The other one is like they are discouraging you. They are telling you.
It's
They're asking you to
resignation.
give up.
Yeah, it's a hopeless
Yes,
situation.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's true.
Wow.
So then, how do you move on now from school? How did he progress through school and yourself? No, I think actually before you even got through school, Patricia asked a question. I think you've answered it in part. Yes, you took him everywhere. Yes, all those things. But were you in any way yourself? Did you have to get support elsewhere, or you accepted and it was an easy acceptance? That journey, the mental health journey.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because much as you're advocating for him, in
Yes.
the background,
I
lot
was
happening.
falling to pieces. Everything was happening. I lost it.
we don't have to go there, but just to tell people it's part of their journey, I guess.
Looking back now, it's much easier. Because there's you're sort of explaining to yourself there's a good reason why you are breaking down.
Yes.
But while you're going through it, you just think you're a total failure. What, I can't even be a mother? It's horrible. I was very lucky. I live with my mom even now. So I
Support.
was very, very lucky. Because you cannot do this thing on your own.
Yeah.
I was going through a divorce. I was completely on shaky ground. A lot of things happened. It's just, I can't imagine that I made it through to now, and everybody looks at me and they're like, oh my God, you've done such a good job with Africa. Oh my God. And I'm like, was that even me? I don't think it's me. So it does. I think it does break you.
You know what I appreciate? Because your journey is so similar to mine, like to that T. But what I appreciate from what you're saying, and how I can maybe explain why people want to continue celebrating you and telling you you've done a really good job, is because at any given moment you could have given up. You could have given him up. You could have walked away. You could have given him. Of course,
not
that
an
reaction.
option.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The fact that it's unfathomable. Like you can't even believe that that's something somebody could suggest. But you see, life can throw you some curveballs, and you literally feel like you're drowning. Like you cannot handle it. Like you can't. But the fact that you showed up every day, gave that day what you could, and waited for the next and the next, and that cumulative effort is this fantastic boy that we know and love.
Yeah.
And I know him, so for me this story is really doing things to me, but you have done so well, if nothing else, just by sticking it out. I think there's a lot to be said about parents that remain in the fight, so to speak, that don't turn away or give up their child. We know that there's a particular gender that usually does this. We don't like to start that.
Let's not judge. Let's
We
not
don't like
judge.
to start that.
I think it
topic.
depends on the personality.
Because, yes, but I think that as I've gone along in my journey as well, my empathy has grown because of my understanding of what she has just said. Those moments where you're like, I cannot.
You're drowning.
but you kept going. And I think that sometimes the easy thing to do is to give up and just shut that part of your life and say, but when you keep showing up, you deserve everything
all the
that's
flowers,
happening
yes,
now.
all the flowers, all of
Thank
it
you,
all.
thank you.
And I think even the giving up we're talking about is not abandoning the child.
It's like an emotional switch off.
Switch off.
Yeah.
And you get busy with work, with life, with everything else, and you hand over the child to the professionals, the therapists, the teachers. They'll do it, and you don't check in. So I think celebrate that and step into that accolades when people give them to you, because you were there. Whether you were broken, whether you were down, you were there. You did not say the occupational therapist knows best. The child is not here. You stayed in the place of the mother, of the parent. And the child will always, always flourish in the arms of their mother. I think that's the best place a child can be. Absolutely. I'm going to jump now so that you'll then bridge that gap, because I think recently Africa was standing for even wasn't he campaigning to be something in school?
He's a prefect.
He's a prefect in school. Yes, he is a prefect in his school.
With a photo of him as
Yes,
a
he's a prefect in school. So really, Mama Africa has a story to share, that from a child who's not walking at 4 to now he's a prefect in school. Now I can ask my question again about school. I come from the education perspective of this. How did that journey, what did it look like?
School was, I took him to a daycare nursery school at first, where they were really nice. Hungry Caterpillar, they were just opening. They used to carry him around. That was so sweet. That was really good. And then when he was about to start year 1, I switched him to Ambrosoli. By now he was walking just slowly. And they were great. He was okay there. He did one, I think, the last year of nursery there. And then at some point, we got him a shadow teacher. So he was in the classes,
Yes.
but he had a shadow teacher, Vivian. She was amazing.
Maybe for somebody who is tuning in for the first time, what's a shadow teacher and how did that work for
You have somebody who's like a personal assistant
To the child.
for your child. So they can sit in class and she can gauge what's possible for him to understand or not to understand, translate it for him and help him along. But they also had like also a special needs teacher that you would see outside of the classroom. Yeah, so he was there for like 6 years until year 6. And then we took him to British School of Kampala, which Patricia does.
It's so funny because Harvey went to all the schools you've mentioned.
Seriously, how weird is this?
Your stories are
similar.
I remember I have a cousin who was with him in Ambrosoli, was with Africa in Ambrosoli, and he's the only child she knew who had special needs. And I know this is such a weird way to cut into this story, but I want you to know that because of him and the awareness that he brought to her, she extended it to her parents. And when Harvey was diagnosed, when Harvey was diagnosed, this is one of the families that immediately understood his condition, and they were really supportive and really, really good to Harvey because they had already witnessed Africa.
It's amazing.
So,
That's so nice.
Until this very moment, this is such a full circle moment.
Yeah.
But imagine how, anyway, yeah.
So you went to Ambrosoli as well,
He was there for like 2 weeks. That's a story for another day. But by the time he had joined Ambrosoli, they had closed the program, so he wasn't able to stay on. But we had tried. That was one of the times when we were hopping from one place to another. But he also did start at Hungry Caterpillar. And
Bhavna was amazing.
He experienced everything you've said. They were very kind. They were kind to me because I was there during my denial
phase.
And they handled me really, really well. So everything that you say, I can rubber stamp and say, yeah,
But you see the message in this. This is a message. You know, you may think you're just doing this for your child, but you do not know how many more people's lives and families you're touching.
Yes.
Now she's only realizing now that it is through that family that you also got encouraged.
Yeah.
So the message is, I guess we need to keep doing what we are doing. We are touching many lives, directly and indirectly.
Is there anything you'd want to say, a message you'd want to leave for a parent who's, well, at the different stages? So I'll break it into three, because you said Africa is now?
He's going to be 18.
He's going to be 18. So let's say for somebody who's just received a diagnosis, somebody who's at the age 10, and then somebody who's in the teenage years, what would you say? So to the parent who's just starting on their journey.
The parent just starting on their journey, just keep trying. Just don't give up. We're very lucky that there's so many more resources. There are more people. Talk to people. I wish I had been able to talk to people like this then.
Yes.
Find people to talk to. Just don't give up.
Don't give up.
But also, it's not just about the kid. You need to take care of yourself. Your own mental health is important. Yes.
When did Africa first call you, say, Mama?
Mama, 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
I hear that from a lot of parents who come through to the center. They would love to hear their children call their name. Don't give up. We don't know when the child will say it.
And speech therapy works. It works. It really
These therapies
works.
They do.
Yes, it's a holistic type thing. Everything together will work, and they will eventually say, thank you.
I just have one question. Your son seems to be at the same age group as mine, and now I'm also seeking advice from you because I am now battling with transitioning from a teenage to an adult. It comes with a lot of things, emotions, eyeing girls. How is that for you? How are you dealing with it?
I think we shall help each other because I also need a lot of advice. My young man is a ladies' man. He likes the girls, totally. But I don't know how well I'm doing it. I have a book for sexual education for children with disabilities that I'm sort of using somehow. We sit and talk about some things, but
I need to find that book too.
But it's hard. I don't know what to do. And then the important thing, he's finishing school in June. We had hoped he would stay on.
Yes.
But I talked to him about it and he said, but Mama, these things of repeating are not good.
Oh, sweetheart.
So he doesn't want to go back there. But you know, in Uganda there is no university that will take. He's not very, his fine motor skills never really developed that well. Because a lot of the, I know, special needs children are very good with these vocational things. They make stuff, but he's not good with his hands. So that's like an obvious thing that we can't get into. I'm very stuck. I need advice. We need to know where we're going next.
So you're navigating the
We're
next
navigating
steps,
the
the next
next-
season, and the next phase of life.
Okay. I guess we're in a similar place.
So maybe as a challenge, not just to us, but our community, because we are part of a larger community of schools and people who are in this journey with us. Maybe we need to now challenge ourselves and see what we can come up with that can help our children. We've done so many things now
For
that
the
we
younger
didn't think-
kids.
and we
Yeah.
didn't think that we could, and we didn't think that it was possible. So maybe we just need to figure out something, and we can start and get it better as we go along. You know,
That's true. That's true. I guess the challenge is on us.
it's
then.
on us.
It's on us.
It's
then,
on
yeah,
us.
yeah. And I think it's a great point to sort of end for this particular session
Yes.
and to say thank you, Lucy,
Thank you for having me.
for coming. And I think we've left it at a point which is critical for everybody, because you wonder what future for
What
my
next?
child, what next? And perhaps it's something we can dive into a little deeper in a future episode.
Yeah.
For parents who've gone ahead, yes. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing. And I hope we didn't go too deep, but I hope somebody out there has heard your story and will be encouraged. Maybe before we finally sign out, would you be open to somebody calling you if we get a subscriber saying, "Oh, I would like to reach out to Mama Africa.
Yes,
Can I
please.
contact her?" Would
Yes,
that be okay
please.
with
Yes,
you?
please. I love to talk to people. I wear one earring in the shape of Africa since it's now been like 2 years, like all the time. I only wear one earring because I want people to say, "Oh, did you drop your earring?" And then it
starts a conversation.
I start to talk
wow.
about.
So
Cannot believe
clever.
I was looking at your earring throughout the show.
This whole time I was like, did we lose her earring?
No, I didn't. I hadn't noticed that she wasn't wearing the other. But I was like, this Africa thing has a lot. She has a lot going on with this Africa
So
thing.
for the last 2 years, I've been doing that. I wear an earring. I want people to talk. I want to share my story to see if I can help anybody.
Thank you, Lucy. Oh, this has been amazing. Thank you for being proudly Mama Africa. Thank you so much. And we wish you all the best on the next steps in your journey.
Thank you.
So guys, if you want to hear more from Mama Africa, reach out to us. We'll get her details as well, that you can reach out to her. She's happy to help, happy to engage with parents as well about this. Today was a story of hope, an encouraging story, I believe, not just for autism, but any special needs really. The difficulty, the hard days. Keep going, keep pushing. We are a part of your tribe, so in case you need anybody to talk to, we're always here. Like our page, like our video, subscribe, and come back soon, because this is just the beginning. We are looking forward to engaging with more people like Lucy, who humble us with so much, the amount of value that they have. And we're looking forward to sending you more of this. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.